Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. It is Tuesday, October 15th. We're halfway through the month, and we're so happy to have all of you with us today. We're talking about lots of different extracts, right? We've got our apple caramel extract, we've got our change out of peach extracts, we've got our vanilla bean sweet dream extract, a cinnamon extract. So there's a whole bunch going on.
We're starting 3 new ones. We're doing change outs into different ones. And then the best day of all, we get to taste test 2 of our extracts. So it's a busy day, but fun. I always love it when we have taste tests.
Taste test time, me too. That's our favorite, right? And we've had a lot of them now because we started doing this. It's been about a year now that we've started doing this. And
One more month. We started in November.
In November was our first one. So next time will be our anniversary as we've been making our way through our book, The Art of Extract Making, and trying to make every single extract in the book, and we're almost there.
Yeah, next month we get to try to taste test the winter extract and the mocha.
The winter spice that we made a year ago.
Yeah.
Yes, it's ready just in time for the holidays. So fun. So we'll update you on that date and when that's going to happen in November. But we're excited to dive in. A big welcome and a big thanks to all of our Club Vipera members. We love you. You're a member of our Club Vipera group, and we just love having you in every one of these. And there's so many familiar faces that we see on the screen, and it's just so fun. We feel like it's like our old friends now are coming back and hanging out with us at least once a month, which is a lot of fun. Any new people attending for the first time, welcome. If you found us on Eventbrite or through our Facebook group, whatever it is, we're super glad to have you. We hope that we fill your cup. Our goal with all of these workshops is, and our goal with the book really was to just teach concepts, show you how extract making works, introduce the concept of extract making, cautions that you've got to be aware of, things that we've failed at or our group members have failed at that we want to teach best practices so you don't have to fail, with the hopes that you take our ideas and you make them all their own and all your own, and you have lots of fun with them, right?
Yeah.
And with every workshop, we're going to give away a free gift card at the end of the workshop to one of our attendees, just as a way to say thanks. So we'll announce that as we get to the end. But here we go. Should we dive in?
We should.
We should. We should. Okay, you got to go through all the stuff at the beginning. It's so important. Maybe. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've gone through like the strategy of the best way to do this, right? And so instead of starting with our brand new extracts this time, we want to start with our change outs. So our first one is going to be
our peach caramel vanilla, because the caramel takes so long to filter out. We want to get it started so you can see some of the extract being filtered through the coffee filter. It's going to take several hours because it's so, it's very viscous. So let's start with that. We've already changed it out once. Last time we had started at 2 months, and we had taken the caramel out, and then we added another 4 ounces of peaches and took the old peaches out. So now all we're going to do is take out the last of the peaches, let that strain, and then we're going to put in the beans back in and let it go for another 4 months. So let's start out.
So this is page 126, Art of Extract Making, Peach Caramel, our second change out. Here we go.
Change out,
And the caramel ones are always tricky.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of a mixture between an extract and an infusion and emulsion, because you're adding that caramel in here. There's sugar. There's so much more in these. And if you let that caramel go, it's really the only one that I've seen that I can ruin. If I leave the caramel in too long, there won't be any alcohol left. It just absorbs all of it. So this is one you really, really need to change out and not forget about.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just using a Chemex because that's what I have. If you have a cheesecloth or another kind of coffee filter, go ahead and use that.
The Chemex has been like a dream, though, for stuff like this when you need to let it sit for some time. The way that it filters, because it narrows all the weight right down to the center, and that's really important, right? Because all of that weight pushes on itself right there in the center of the neck, which helps it strain even a little bit quicker.
Yes, but also because that surface area at the bottom is so small, some of the thicker ingredients sometimes will clog it. And I'll come in after hours and there'll be no dripping, but it'll still have a ton at the top. And it's so frustrating. And it's just because some of the bigger pieces, maybe the caramel or a peach or something else, or a vanilla bean are at the very bottom and it's clogging the end. And so you kind of have to move things around so it can filter out. One of the things that you can do if you want, and this might make it easier with these caramel infusion extracts, is that you could the first time take it through just a fine mesh strainer, and then all of the stuff that the liquid that comes out of that, then put it into your coffee filter to get that pure extract look.
Yeah, let's zoom in on the
And you
camera
can-
here just to see a finished one.
So this is how it looks when you're finished. And it is so beautiful. You've got that amber color. It's so clear. But it takes some time to go from this to this.
Almost, it does. But
Yeah,
it
so
looks like a totally different extract.
You have to just be patient. And I mean, there's been a couple times where I have had to change out the filter paper because it just stops on me.
And it also filters out the sides when it gets like all the stuff starts collecting on the bottom. It starts filtering out of the sides as well. And so, you kind of move it around and it'll drip from the sides down as well. But joking about how, you look at this, if we're still in the extract cam, I just want to show the difference one more time. So you look at the stuff that's in the Chemex, you look at this, they look entirely different. But if you, I wish I could, I can't bend the camera down, but the extract that's dripping right now, it's already begun. It is this color. So it's amazing how all the caramel's just essentially being left behind, the extract's making its way through, and it's beautiful.
Well, the taste of the caramel is still in there.
Yes, but all the little particles, the sugar and things like that, yeah.
Doesn't look very appetizing when you look at it, and all the caramel pieces are still in there. You really are like, is this going to turn out? But once you filter it through, it's got that beautiful, clear, wonderful peach caramel flavor. It's going to turn out just fine.
It is. So just as a recap, we've done our second change out of this one already. We started with the 8 ounces of fresh peaches. We went through the whole straining process. We then added the 4 ounces of fresh peaches. Now this is the final straining, right?
This is the final, it depends. So what you're gonna do is we're getting rid of the peaches in here. We're going to put the vanilla beans back in. So what you're still going to have caramel pieces kind of on the vanilla. So you can take something to wipe that off if you want, or you could put a little bit of alcohol, whatever you want to do to kind of clean off the beans. And then put them back in the filtered alcohol, and then you wouldn't have to filter again the last time. But you could filter one last time when you do your taste test if you see any like floaties or anything you don't like and you don't want in your extract. Then you're welcome to filter one more time. But when you get there, you'll know. You'll be able to see it.
Yep. So when we're done with this and all of the extract has been drained out, the last step before we close the lid and wait another 4 months is we clean off the vanilla beans, wipe them off with like a wet paper towel, something, correct? And then put them back into the extract and we close the lid and we wait 4 more months. Let the vanilla taste come out.
Yeah. And then also measure your how much you've got out. If you're a little bit short, you're going to be a little short of 8 ounces, I promise you, because so much of that alcohol is, it's going to be absorbed in some of the peaches and the caramel. So if you're just a little bit short, go ahead and add a little bit more alcohol and then let it sit for another 4 months.
Love it. Sounds great.
Okay.
And then, nope, this isn't the one that we started with the Everclear.
No.
Well, we did.
Well, yes.
But the recipe called for it.
Yes.
The Everclear change out, that's coming up next. There's a little preview to the next discussion that we did because we did all 3 peaches all at the same time. I'm just trying to keep them all organized, but we'll talk about that.
If you want, you can put this in a regular strainer and push it down with, like your muddle or a potato masher or the bottom of a jar, and it might speed up the process a little bit, and then put it into the coffee filter. That's up to you. Either way, it will work.
It'll work. Maybe hold that up to the camera really close just to show the slow drip and
I'm
the
not really able
color
to
to be
see
able to
that.
see that. So this is, if you can kind of see, oh, perfect, right there. Yeah, hold tight. So you see the extract at the bottom is, the color of what was in the jar. And you see just drip by drip, it's coming down. And I'm just going to keep talking to see how long Jill can hold that heavy bottle up with one hand. No, you held it longer than I could, for sure. So we'll just let that go for the rest of the show. It
Yeah.
probably won't be ready by the end, but
No, it definitely won't be
Yeah.
ready by the end, but at least we'll have some that's accumulated at the bottom and maybe be able to show you a little bit more. But these caramel extracts, they're slow going. You just have to kind of let them do their thing. And they'll get there.
they'll get there. And then we get to enjoy that in February.
Uh-huh.
Correct? I
Yeah.
think that's the timeline. So
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll be taste testing that one in February.
Yeah.
Do I think
Oh,
that?
you're gonna
Oh.
want to clean out your jar too
Yes.
before you put the new stuff in, because you've got all kinds of stuff in there.
Yep. And everyone's always like, do I have to clean with alcohol? You can, but remember, most alcohol is like 60% water. And so it's okay to rinse your jars out with water and just clean them out that way. You don't necessarily have to use vodka or rum. It gets expensive every time you clean out your jars. You can
Or
use water.
soap. I mean, you
Yeah,
soak in
yeah.
water, clean it out, and there you go.
There you go. Something like that. So perfect. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Peach caramel extract.
Yeah.
So we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, our next change out is the peach vanilla spice, page 125 of the Art of Extract Making. We started it on August 20th. And here we go for change out number 2.
Yes.
Just like the caramel one.
Yeah.
Am I getting it? Did I do good?
Peaches still, because we had our peach extravaganza back in August. And so we've got all these change outs now that kind of we've got to follow through the next few months here.
Yes.
This is peach vanilla spice. It's got this is a little bit different because we've got cinnamon and vanilla and peaches. Now we had to make kind of a change when we started this in August. We're supposed to, in our book, it says use overproof rum. But we were not able to find the rum here in Utah that we originally used. It wasn't strong enough for fresh fruit. I think it was 165, was it?
Yeah, and we're looking for something around 160 proof, and it was like 130 proof.
Okay.
That was the problem. And so it was overproof, just not overproof enough.
Yeah, so what we originally used is no longer available here, which happens to us all the time.
All the time. When we just start liking one, right? Like, remember when the Kirk and Sweeney, they had that 23-year, whatever, we tried it, which you don't need a Kirk and Sweeney, but then all of a sudden it just goes away.
Yeah.
They change it all the time.
Yes, and but if it is wonderful with the rum, if you can, was it straw? I think
straw or stro. If I'm STROH, it's
Yeah.
160 proof, which works great for a single change out fresh fruit extract, which means I shouldn't say single change out, just a single add in, no change out fresh fruit extract. The 160 proof is just fine. Does the trick.
Yeah, and I'm curious if any of you have been able to, extract with that, if you found it, because I might have to get my sister to bring some in when she comes visit.
Yes, from Arizona. I'm looking, who do we have in our group today that lives down in Arizona? I see one person. I see Teresa's favorite person. She's down in Yuma waving right now. Maybe she can get, exactly. Maybe she can get the straw.
Yeah.
Because we have a hard time finding it. But when you're able to use that overproof spice rum with the peaches, with the cinnamon, it's even that much better. This one's still going to be great with Everclear, but that much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hand me that strainer there?
This one here?
To do with this change out, yep. All I'm gonna do here is I'm going to remove the peaches. I'm going to leave I'm gonna remove the cinnamon and the peaches. I want to leave the beans in there, of course, because we want more vanilla flavor. And that's why we are not ready to taste this yet, because we want to wait a full 6 months to let the vanilla kind of catch up to all the other flavors. If I get some vanilla beans out of here, I'll just put them back in.
So you'll recall, but I think it's an important point. We will select in a lot of our recipes how many vanilla beans to use, and that's the telltale. There are some recipes where we want it to be really vanilla forward and we want that vanilla taste to come through. When that's the case, typically what you'll see us do is add, upwards of an ounce of vanilla beans for every 8 ounces of alcohol, just like a regular, basic vanilla extract recipe. But we'll let it go for many months to a full year, so we get like real vanilla forward. If we're using vanilla beans as a binder, which we do quite a bit, because you can use a lot of different like kind of loud ingredients when you get into like the star anise or the nutmeg or the allspice berries, and they can kind of compete against each other with the cinnamon. And then the addition of a vanilla bean is sort of a binder, and it just blends and smooths out all of those ingredients, so they work together into something that's cohesive and lovely. And so typically when we're using vanilla as a binder, you'll see we'll put like 1 or 2 beans in the extract instead of the full like 1 ounces of beans. And we won't wait as long. It might be like ready in a couple of months or in a month. I think in the case of like the coconut, it's in a month, and we've got 1 bean in there as sort of a binder, as a perfect example. So this is one that is definitely more, we want it to be vanilla forward, because you've got the peach, you've got the cinnamon. Hopefully, if you're lucky enough, you've got some spiced rum in there. And now if you let the vanilla do its thing, it's lovely. And I'm talking while they should be looking at your muddle underneath the camera.
I did it on purpose.
I know.
There's more surface area.
I know. She uses the handle of the muddle to muddle. I don't know if that's muddling.
It is.
Yeah, but here's the thing. After 26 years of marriage, I don't meddle with her muddle.
Yes, he does.
That's the secret. If all any of you want to know, don't meddle with the muddle. So I've learned I don't meddle with the muddle.
Yes.
There you go. Especially when we're making holiday medley. You never meddle with the muddle when making medley. Try to say that more times. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so I'm just putting some of the vanilla that I took out with the peaches back in. It is vanilla forward, but it doesn't go for 12 months. We want it to catch up to the rest of the ingredients. If you want it to be more flavor, more vanilla, go the full 12 months. But surely you need to be taste testing along the way, because what you think is ready may not be what someone else thinks is ready. And so I would say definitely taste it at 6 months. And if you want more, then you're always, you can always wait.
I know.
Or even taste it before 6 months. I like doing that just because it's kind of a game,
We can't say that enough though. Like taste test, taste test, taste test. If you think it's ready, taste test it. If you don't like where you're at, let it go a little longer. If you love where it's at, start using it. So, you can't taste test too much, and taste testing's fun.
Well, it is, because you can kind of see the process of how the extract, goes each month, how long it's going to take to, each month a little bit, more flavor, a little more flavor.
Yep.
And just the process of it and how long it takes and what your, preferences are.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can
Put
put
that back in.
We can.
There we go. I'll move this over here.
Look at all.
Oh, it's beautiful. Lots of caviar, because we cut those beans open, which we like. We like the specks. Oh, the smell of that is just,
isn't it?
Oh my gosh. That's such a beautiful extract. And obviously peach extracts, when you think of peach extracts, we think of peach pie, we think of peach cobbler, we think of fall cooking, right?
Yeah, well, especially when you're putting, the cinnamon in with it. My mom used to make this peach cinnamon jam. And it was the most delicious. She doesn't have the recipe. I don't even think she had when she just made it. And now she has no idea how she made it, and I don't either, but it was so yummy. We put it on our pancakes. Who needs syrup when you have this jam, this peach cinnamon jam that is so yummy? So many things that you can do with that peach spice flavor.
Yep. And the peach caramel, same thing. And we'll talk about the peach vanilla. Is that one next? No, we're taste testing that later. We always save taste testing till the end, because that's super fun. Okay, so there we go. There's our update. So we'll come back to peach vanilla spice, and also in February when we get back to that one. Let's do a quick check-in. How's it doing? We've got maybe still draining. We've got maybe I don't know, 1/8 of an inch on the bottom of that Chemex, roughly. So still doing its thing. Take some time, but it's coming out lovely. And how the color goes from what it is on top to that beautiful amber on the bottom, just, I don't know. I geek out over it. I think it's fun. It looks beautiful.
It does.
Here we go. So Next extract, it's time to make a brand new one.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, we
Let's-
like this.
Let's move on.
We are moving on. So
Yes.
let's move on to now our apple caramel vanilla. This is sort of the marquee extract. This was the extract that we put like in the event. The picture is this one. This is the one. This is now. This is the event that we've all been waiting for. Coming in this corner, weighing in at 8 ounces.
Okay.
Dehydrated strawberries, or strawberries, apples. Okay, here we go. Back. So page 102, the art of extract making, caramel vanilla extract. One of our faves. Apple caramel vanilla extract. I left the apple out again. That's twice.
It's okay.
I'm working on it.
No one's counting.
Apple caramel vanilla extract. Here we go.
This is fun because, we are in the middle of apple season. Apples are everywhere. We have 2 apple trees. I cannot keep on top of them. I keep dropping them off at people's houses.
Yeah, lock your car if you live near us, because you're gonna get apples in your backseat.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
season, and in October around Halloween, you just think of caramel apples and dipping your apples in caramel. It's the perfect time to make this.
Yes.
So, and it's really quite easy. We are going to start with 1/2 ounce of our Papua New Guinea beans. This has got that light, fruity undertone, in addition to that buttery creaminess of vanilla that we love.
And these are the Papua New Guinea V. tahitensis vanilla beans. We call them karimas, but that's what these are versus the planifolia, because they're a little lighter, more fruity undertones. They work really well with apples.
Yeah. So we are going, and it's just 1/2 ounce. So we want to make sure that you're going to weigh these, right? I pre-weighed them, but you guys know that don't just count 3 beans, because that not all 3 beans are equal. So remember to always measure your beans. Okay, so I am gonna just cut these down the middle. I'm just going to take the tip off, like my friend Ladon showed me at our
we're using the seam ripper this time. The seam ripper's coming back.
Yeah, so I think it was that, or maybe it was Lori.
Ladon, I remember, taught us the seam ripper.
Ladon gave me the seam ripper.
Exactly. Look at that.
Oh, I didn't do it exactly right. Oh
Wow.
my gosh, you guys, look at all.
That was a packed full bean. Holy
Look at
cow.
that.
I mean, it fell all over the cutting board.
Pretty.
Yes, that one was fully loaded with caviar. Don't you
Yep.
love that? So
It
that was
worked so easily when I did it earlier.
I know. We are trained professionals. Do not try this at home unless you're trying this at home.
See how I never sew anymore, so I love to get that seam ripper out, because when I used it with sewing, it was not a good thing.
Hey, you were sewing last night.
Oh, that's right. I was.
Yes, we're getting ready for our Black Magic party that's coming up next week. So it's going to be lots of fun.
I have little ghost seat covers that I have in a cupboard I haven't used in years, and I'm just fixing some of them, mending them to put on the chair. So it's going to be so fun.
It is going to be fun. We're excited. That's next Tuesday. That's another topic for another time.
Okay, so
You're cutting them up after you slice them,
because I want them to fit nicely in the bottom of this jar. This is a pint-sized jar. You need to get a bigger jar. It's nice to have the wider mouth, especially since I have these bigger ingredients. It's just gonna be easier to put them all in. So I've got my 1/2 of Papua New Guinea vanilla beans. And then the next thing is my dried apples. And the recipe calls for 1/2 cup. So I'm just gonna kind of push them down. This is kind of like a rudimentary, like I'm going to push them down kind of like you do, brown sugar tight. But if you're wondering the measurement, it's around 46 grams. And I filled it twice just to kind of get the idea of how close I was to it. And each time it was 46 grams. So if that's helpful, just kind of to the top, or you can just weigh them.
Yeah. And should we talk about the apples while you're doing that?
Yes, these are not freeze-dried apples. They are dehydrated apples.
Yep. And so the reason that we went with dehydrated on this, so one, dehydrated is still dry, but they're not as crackly as freeze dry. And for those of you that were with us and you saw us do like our pineapple extract that we did with freeze dried pineapples, They really absorb the alcohol. They can become kind of mealy before you strain all the alcohol out. And when you have something freeze-dried coupled with the caramel, it can become quite difficult to strain. So we chose dehydrated because they're a little bit more pliable. They still have had the moisture removed, but their pliability indicates that there's still just a little tiny bit of moisture left inside. So when that happens, what's really important, and it's kind of a side note, but I think it's an important one. You want to start with at least a 40% ABV or an 80 proof vodka. Now, I think almost every vodka now is 40% and 80 proof.
Yes.
I haven't seen one in a long time that's 35, but for the case that maybe it exists, when you're using dehydrated, go a little bit higher on the alcohol. The minimum that we don't want to dip below is that 35%. And since we're introducing just maybe a small amount of moisture inside the dehydrated apples versus freeze-dried, you just want to account for that to make sure that you're always above 35%.
Well, and another reason is using the dehydrated is that the caramel absorbs so much of the alcohol, and so does freeze-dried fruit. And so it just takes up too much of the alcohol, and you're going to be adding alcohol, adding more fruit, and so we just found that it's just easier to go with the dehydrated, so you don't have more change outs. It's less expensive
and less work. It's easier to strain because really that's it, because the caramel, it just thickens as it's emulsifying or going through, right, and infusing itself. It just thickens. So it's just more time straining, more time waiting. Whereas if we have dehydrated instead of freeze-dried, it works great. So that's where we call for dried apples and not freeze-dried apples, because we in this case like the way the dried apples or the dehydrated apples work with the caramel. Really works well. Yep, they play together well.
They do. Okay, the last, well, not the last, because we still need vodka. The next ingredient is our 5 ounces of these caramel squares. It really is the hardest part of this recipe, is just unwrapping every single one of those caramel squares. It takes forever. So I already did that ahead of time, so you don't have to worry about watching me do that. It's 5 ounces. It's about 15, I'd say. And I'm just going to push it down a little bit to get rid of like the empty space. And then I'm going to add in the 8 ounces of vodka. We've got Svedka, and I'm just using what I have on hand.
Svedka is always like our go-to because of price and availability. And they sell it locally at the liquor store. Rain Cane's probably one of our favorites, but they don't sell it here in the liquor stores right now. And so this is one that is easy to get, and like Rain Cane comes at a pretty low price.
Yeah, it's not too
well, and others. Smirnoff is really good as long as it's not the artificial flavors.
Tito's.
Yep. We've got quite a few Tito's that are listed that we love.
Locals that we've tried too. Sugar House.
Sugar House. Clearwater has a really good vodka. Some local and distilleries here in Salt Lake and.
So this goes right up to the neck here. As time goes by, they'll dissolve and they'll start looking. This is one that I made a month ago, and you can see, the apple through there. And so in a month, it's gonna kind of look like this. And I'll check on it every so often. I'll shake it, and then I'll open it up. And see, since I've shaken it, the apples will come to the top. So I'll just take something, push it down, and then close it up and put it back in the cupboard. And then I'll come in a little bit later and then shake it up and check on it. I do like to shake. I don't really shake most of my extracts, but with the caramel, because I'm packing that in so much, once it dissolves, I want to get the vanilla, the apple, and the caramel all mixed together instead of it just kind of layering in there.
Yep. So this is an extract. So we'll put the lid on it. We'll wait. I think it's 2 months, right? And then in 2 months, we're going to come back and we're going to strain the caramel, and we're going to add in another half cup of apples just to get that apple taste out. You really got to work the apples to get that taste apple forward. And so a second change out we found is really important, to get a lot of that apple to come through with the caramel. the vanilla.
Because apple is a milder flavor than lemon
Yep.
or a citrus, right?
Yep.
So, or even some of the berries.
Yes,
right?
for sure.
So I went ahead and just put the labels on ahead of time. And so I've got my apple caramel vanilla on page 102. It says change out 12/20, and on the bottom I put the date that I started. So when I'm looking in my cupboards, I kind of know what the next step is. I also have a spreadsheet that I have on because all these lives, I get confused. So I have to keep a track on my computer to know what the next step is. But it's nice to have all of this on the jar, just looking at, right, you can look at right when you open the cupboard when you're doing all your shaking.
Yep. And a couple of other final points that I think are important along the lines of we're just kind of showing our way and what has worked for us. Can you make this with freeze-dried apples and just deal with the caramel? You can. You're just going to be working it a little bit more, and it's going to be a little harder in our experience to strain it out. Can you use fresh apples to make this if you wanted to use fresh apples like we did with our fresh peaches? And the answer is yes, you could. But you've got to add then the higher proof alcohol. You got to go to like an Everclear, the high proof rum that we talked about. And you just got to make sure that your proportions are consistent with not diluting the alcohol to below that 35%. So there's a little bit of math that you can do. So there are lots of roads to get you an apple vanilla and apple caramel finished extract. Lots of places to begin, and it'll all get you to the same finish line, just different routes and different experiences, right?
That's why we put it in the book, is that we wanted you to see kind of this middle place that's an option.
Yeah.
We have recipes that do the freeze-dried route, and we have recipes that do the overproof alcohol with fresh fruit.
Yeah.
And then now we're doing the dehydrated option. So we just want you to start thinking about what your options are and then run with it.
Well, and then also it opens up more seasons of being able to make things, because dehydrated apples or freeze-dried apples might be around longer than just apple season or peach season or whatever it is. So you can certainly try them all. There are a great many. Even as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking we'll get like those dehydrated apricots from Costco that I love, right? We've never made that one. That might be an interesting one to explore. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But as you're going through the grocery store and you see these different things that are available, hopefully you're starting to think that there's sort of a whole new world of extracts that you can explore based on what's available. But you just need to know the math. You need to know how the dried fruit, fresh fruit affects alcohol content.
Well, and if you have your own dehydrator, you don't know exactly how much
Moisture content.
Moisture is in
Yes.
there. So try it out with the vodka. And if you think it's not working, then definitely go to like the Everclear or the overproof rum.
Yep.
And try that with the dehydrated.
There you go. So those are the concepts. So we love this apple extract. We're gonna be excited to change it out 2 months and then taste test. Was it 6 months from now? I think it's a 6 month. Yes, 6 months from now. So it's a little bit of a journey. So we will see you all in April when we're taste testing the apple caramel. And by the way, that's the other point of extract making, is you have all these flavors now in your cabinet year round. You don't have to wait for the season because you have apple extract and peach extract, and it's coconut coming up, and grapefruit we'll be doing later, that are all available year round. And that's kind of fun. Strawberry, raspberry.
Fun. But then also when it comes around and you want to use those apple caramel recipes next season during that fall when it starts getting chilly, you're gonna be ready for it. I love putting it in my coffee in the morning when it's cold outside, and I just feel like it's part of fall.
Totally. Coffee, tea, fun things.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, there we go. There, very first, apple, caramel,
Guys,
vodka. Yes.
question before we move on from Laurie. She asked, would it make sense to add the caramels after the extract is done if you're using freeze-dried apples? Could help.
You know what? That's a great question. And the answer would be yes, for sure. Just to, because really with the caramels, you're just waiting for them to dissolve. It's not a time thing. And so extracting the freeze-dried fruit first and then adding the caramel second is a fantastic idea. Love that idea. Because you don't have to worry about them being intermingled.
Yep, I still think you'll have to top off more. I think it's going to absorb more. What I found with the pineapple, it absorbs more of the alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, all the alcohol doesn't disappear. It's still in there, but getting it out is tricky. So if you know, seal your jar so there's no air going out. Somebody put in one of our group posts, I think it was Julie, that she didn't put the cap on her extract tight enough.
Oh.
And she made this reference point that I think is super helpful, because she left it for some period of time and the cap wasn't on fully, and so a lot of it had evaporated. And I'm sure a lot of you know this, but in spirit, in distilling, when they put the alcohol in the cask, if you do like a bourbon tour out in bourbon country or Scotland, wherever you go, for Scotch, they call it the angel's portion. And it's the amount of alcohol that will evaporate out when it's uncovered. And that exists, and it can happen fairly quickly over time. And so that's something that you do want to make sure. So as long as your lid is tight, you're not gonna, and as long as, you know, your container's pretty full, you're not gonna lose a lot to the quote unquote angel's portion. So when you unscrew the pineapple or the freeze-dried product and you see that it's absorbed the alcohol, it's all in there. It hasn't disappeared, but you got some work to do to get all that alcohol out. And what we've learned is it's just
You're not
really,
going to.
you're not gonna get it all. It's just really difficult.
Just, you can't
Yeah,
get all of it.
you just can't.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that we've noticed with the caramel, it appears that the caramel is absorbing the alcohol. It's not, it's the caramel is being dissolved into the alcohol, but sometimes it creates a very thick solution that also has to be strained, which makes it hard to get sometimes the alcohol out of the caramel because it's dissolved itself into it. So
And
those are some of the challenges you have.
sitting here, it's evaporating to a certain extent.
To a certain extent. I
But
mean,
not.
no,
Yeah.
we can leave that overnight and we're fine, but over weeks and months, you're definitely going to lose some alcohol if your lids aren't on. So those are things to think about when you're going through and you're making it. So you will lose a little bit of alcohol, especially if your container's left open. So make sure that it's tight. Lori, spectacular idea. Do the fruits first, add the caramels last. I love
it.
that idea. Like let's add
Let's
that.
try it.
Yes, like that's a brilliant idea. And it'll certainly make your job a lot easier in getting that finished taste that you're looking for sure. Yes. I wonder what that will do to if the extracting together as it relates to the taste of the caramel and like the apple or the peach, of them sort of blending together, if they're extracting together, versus what it'll taste like if you add it later. I wonder if it'll be a little more caramel forward.
That's a great experience.
Yeah, we're gonna have to try that, Lori. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a spectacular question. Any other questions? Okay, well, that's fantastic. So there we go. Apple caramel will be back in 2 months to do a change out, and then another 2 months for a total of 6.
Mhm.
So fun. Time to move on. Page 141. This is one of our favorite extracts. This is actually one of the very first extracts that we did because it's so simple. This is our cinnamon vanilla extract. And other than vanilla extract, this is as easy as it gets. And the best part about this extract is it's ready in a month. So for anyone that is thinking about holiday gifts that they can make now and have it be ready, even in time for like a Thanksgiving family party, this is your extract. This is the one to make,
Yes,
right?
and I mean, you can put it in a tiny little bottle like this, and put it in with, you know, a coffee cup and some coffee and give it as a little gift that way, or with some baked goods, scones or cinnamon rolls or something, and just have a little bottle in there to gift with it, and it makes it just very personal, and you're done in a month. It is nice.
So we love this one because it's easy, simple, and it tastes amazing because it's cinnamon and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And this calls for our Ceylon cinnamon, two sticks here. You can use Saigon if you want. The Saigon is a little bit more spicy. The Ceylon is a little milder. I like the Ceylon. If you really love cinnamon, taste tested it 1 month, and if you think you like it a little bit more, like my mom loves cinnamon, and so she wants to go just beyond normal cinnamon, and so whatever it is that you like, make sure you taste test it and see you know, if you like it. If not, you can always add more cinnamon or let it sit a little longer.
Yeah, a standard cinnamon stick is usually 4 to 5 inches long, which is what we've got. And the reason that we're not, you know, we're not starting over the top is cinnamon is powerful and it extracts really, really fast. And so like Jill just said, you may love the taste of cinnamon and you can go multiple rounds, or if it reaches its peak, because it's pretty strong with just 2 sticks. And so that's why we suggest starting with the 2 sticks. We add the vanilla just to, again, to soften it, makes it kind of adds a little creaminess to it, which
And
we
it
love.
does, it softens it.
Yep, it softens it a lot, actually. So you may want more, like you said, for
Yeah.
sure. Yep.
Okay, so I'm just gonna slice down the middle. I'm showing all kinds of different ways to do this in case we have some new people. I get lots of questions on, should we cut them? Should we tie them? You know, if you want to keep that caviar for later to put in ice creams, you can tie them or just squeeze them in half and then put them in the jar just to make sure that they're covered with the alcohol.
It is actually quite remarkable how frequently, and Teresa has joined. So Teresa, good to have you. Teresa's been super busy, and she'll tell you, I don't know how many times a day we get emails or Facebook Messenger, whatever it is, comments on posts of people saying, do I cut them or do I leave them whole? All of these questions that I know there are many of you that are watching right now that have been on this journey with us now for like 4 years. And so we talk about it all the time. But the reason we talk about it all the time, we hear it every single day. Do I cut my beans? Do I leave them whole? What's a tip jar? What's a mother jar? How long do I have to wait for my extract to be ready? All those questions we ask, I'm not exaggerating. Every single day, we're answering those questions on one of our social media posts, in Facebook messengers, or in emails that we're receiving. So it's important to go over again against the fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's like basketball, it's dribbling.
Yeah.
Fundamentals.
I'm gonna just snap.
That's a
this.
bad analogy for cooking. You don't go from the kitchen to a basketball court. Fundamentals. Here we go.
So the wonderful thing about Ceylon is that
Blocking and tackling.
You
Blocking.
just cannot. You just can't. You don't smell this at all when they're whole. When you break them in half, really, you can smell it from over
We
there,
talk about it
right?
all the time.
It's
We
the
love
whole-
it.
It's
our second favorite
wonderful.
spice in the world behind vanilla.
Yes, if you get a Saigon cinnamon, you can smell it just by, you don't have to crack it. And
Yeah.
they're hard to crack, by the
They're
way.
hard to crack,
Yeah.
and they're super spicy. They're more spicy than the Ceylon.
Yeah.
But they have their purpose and they're really good. And again, if you're a cinnamon lover, you'll love the cassia, or the Saigon is what they're called. But really hard to crack, really thick bark. But man, are they spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, just they're different. And so it's whatever your preference is. Love, can you hand me the rum there?
There we go.
Okay, so this calls for just a white rum, and we've got Bacardi Superior here. You can see it's a big bottle and it's almost empty. Not from drinking, from extracting.
All extracting.
Anyway.
Except for taste test days, then we have a little sip, which we get to do.
So
Coming
I'm
up.
just gonna do 8 ounces here.
How many of you know all the people at the liquor store like we do? When we feel like we have to explain every time we go through, we're like, yes, it's us again. Hello.
Well, I feel like I have to explain just because I'm buying very large bottles.
Yeah, we're the people that take the shopping cart through the liquor store. And they're all large, but they're all large bottles. Like,
You know, that's what's kind of embarrassing, and I feel like I have to like
we always have to
explain.
defend ourselves.
Because I've got a huge bottle of vodka, a huge bottle of rum, a big bottle of, you know.
Brandy, the last one that we
Brandy.
did, right? Because we're getting ready for the Black Magic and we're using brandy, and it was like huge bottles of all sorts of stuff.
They always look at me funny. I'm like, drink all of it.
We think they know us now.
Yeah.
They figured it out. They know who we are.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to feel like I have to explain, but I do.
Because it's an awful lot of alcohol, and it sure appears that we go through it quickly. We're like, just watch the video. You'll see where it all went. It's all in the video.
Okay, so the cinnamon is floating at the top, and it's completely clear. It looks like water. Over time, pretty quickly, this is going to turn to an amber color, and then that cinnamon is going to absorb. It's going to uncoil, and it's going to sink. And in a month, it's going to be ready to taste test.
Totally. And those of you that have made cinnamon extract, this will be quite amber this evening. It really starts extracting quickly. So it's lovely.
Yep.
So again, holiday gifts, if Thanksgiving gifts, you know, host gifts, whatever. However, you can start a cinnamon extract today and you're ready to gift it a month from now. November 15th, it's ready to go. So we love these.
I love bringing just a little bottle of extract as a host gift because it's not anything that I have to prepare or go get that day. I have all these little bottles after decanting, after they're finished. I'll put them in the little bottles so I can gift them easily, and then I'll put a cute label on. I don't keep my tape on there when I give them out, but it's so fun and it's very personal. So just something you could do.
Yep. But beware, because we've been doing it for so long that we don't go anywhere now when everyone is not asking, where's my extract?
I know I brought a bottle of wine to someone and they're like, no extract?
Yeah, seriously. Like, it's a nice bottle of wine. Where's my extract? Exactly. Extract's better.
Okay, should we move to our last new start?
Our
here?
last new start, this is page 180 of the Art of Extract Making. We call this our Vanilla Bean Sweet Dream because this is sort of the introductory extract that leads to more complex flavors. This is kind of one step towards like the winter spice, which gives you like a nice fall extract taste, but it's not like full-on holiday taste yet, which is a lot of fun.
So in the book, we have a lot of different recipes that are very similar. And it's because we'll leave off certain ingredients. My sister, Terry, she does not like star anise
At all.
at all. So she would steer clear of the winter the winter spice extract, and then maybe go over to this vanilla sweet dream because we've got nutmeg, we've got allspice berries, and so she's not going to go and have to worry about the star anise. We also have cloves in other recipes, and so cloves, star anise, and allspice berries, they kind of go together, and I love all three of them. But we like to spread them out in the book to just show the different options because not everybody likes all of those.
Well, and we've even learned that there are allergens. People are allergic to cinnamon is not an uncommon allergy. And so that's, make sure if you're giving cinnamon out, but so some of our recipes will remove the cinnamon stick just for that reason as well. So both preference, allergies, there's lots of reasons to change things up. And again, like we keep saying, the point is to just show you that you've got all these ingredients and you can kind of create something that's all your own.
Yep.
Okay, let's dive into Vanilla Bean Sweet Dream.
Okay, so this is one of those recipes that is going to go for the entire year. We've got an entire ounce. I pre-measured these, and I've got half an ounce of Mexican that brings kind of a spicy, it kind of has a little bit of a cinnamon to it already. And then mocha, in addition to that sweet, buttery, classic flavor of vanilla. And then the other one is our Indian
Malabar beans.
Malabar, and this has kind of like a caramely, maybe even like when I smell it, I smell like a rum.
Yes.
I love it. My favorite candy at C's is the rum nougat. I want to learn how to make it. I haven't gotten there yet, but it is my favorite.
And the Malabar, the India vanilla bean, reminds us of the rum nougat.
Yes.
So it's rummy. That's the only way to describe it.
It too.
Yeah.
So all those together are going to be a wonderful addition in this recipe. So I'm just going to go quickly. Somebody asked in one of my videos, I did not slice down the middle, I just cut them. And they asked why I didn't. You don't have to. It still gets through, but sometimes when you slice it, especially in recipes that don't go the 12 months, I always slice because I want to get as much caviar into that recipe because it's not going to be sitting as long.
Yeah.
It's just easy to cut down the middle, but sometimes I just use scissors and I cut them in threes and I'm done.
So again, this is an ounce of vanilla beans. So that tells you right out of the chute that this recipe, we want it to be vanilla forward. So that's a really important distinction with other spice recipes like the cinnamon one we just made, certainly is going to be more cinnamon forward. This is vanilla forward. And this one takes a full 12 months. We're going to be taste testing this one next October. I think we said in our last party, we did the math, or it was right before our last workshop, where we're going to finish taste testing our last extract. I think it was 2020, like February of 2027. or something like that is.
Let's not say this.
So stay tuned.
That sounds depressing.
No, I think it's exciting. I have a reason to. taste-
Okay.
No, but it gets here so fast.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we've got one whole nutmeg, and I have learned through the years is I just kind of put it into my dish towel, a clean dish towel, and I just do. Would you like to do that? You.
No, I'm gonna let you do it because I assume you're gonna hit it with the handle. You go ahead.
You little smart. I'm not gonna end it. Smart.
My dad used to call me, there it is. There you go. Well done.
It is a little satisfying.
My dad used to call me a smart donkey sometimes. I was a little kid. He's like, you're a smart donkey.
It smells so wonderful.
Oh, I love it.
Just a couple little,
Put it on the
snacks,
extract can there.
and you're ready to go. You don't have to, really smack the,
You just hit it solid a couple of times. Yeah.
a couple times, and then you got a few pieces. The aroma is so wonderful. We're going to be making some extracts with nutmeg. And we're having our own little potions party with friends and family on
Yes.
Friday. Teresa just had a potions party last week.
She did.
I know some of you have been having potions parties, and we're so excited to have our lives.
Let's see.
We
Is
talk about it.
Carol here today? I don't know
Yes.
if Carol, did you see her? She just had a huge party. And then Jenny had one as well. And I know a couple other, but yeah, Teresa had like 12, 14 people at her home the other night. Like they had a big, 'tis the season, right?
Yeah.
Potions parties. They're so fun.
Yeah, so one stick of Ceylon cinnamon, and the last thing I'm gonna put in is the allspice berries. It is 1 teaspoon. So I've pre-measured that, and I'm just gonna drop those in there. You guys, this smells so wonderful. And the funny thing is I have a tank top and shorts on because here in Utah, it's like 88 degrees.
Still hot.
It's the middle of October, and they're telling us that the real fall is coming on Thursday.
Yeah, it's supposed to snow on Thursday, which we're so not looking forward to.
But just smelling this makes me a little bit okay with it.
But this is absent two really strong spices that we use on other extracts, and that again is the star anise and the cloves. Because
which is very strong.
The addition of both of those, either with each other or independent, makes an entirely different extract. It's not subtle, it's significant when you throw in star anise and cloves.
It can overpower the nutmeg and some of the other spices that aren't as powerful.
Which is another reason that making the different versions has been important to us as we've seen different tastes and how they all apply. So this is fun, obviously holiday baking, right? And we're making it now, so it'll be ready next October. We can start using it for holiday baking.
Add it to your pumpkin spice lattes.
Yes.
Just in your tea.
But even your banana breads, your pumpkin spice breads, things like that
your glazes.
Oh, for sure, that they're wonderful for. So we're going back to our go-to, our Svedka vodka. This is all super dry ingredients. So if you've got like a 35% vodka and you happen to have one, this is a great extract to make because you're not really introducing any moisture at all. This is just good old-fashioned extracting.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep, the berries will float a little bit.
Easy peasy. And I've got it pre-labeled, Vanilla Sweet Dream, page 80. It's going to be changed out on 11/15. We're going to take the cinnamon out. And then this goes for a little bit longer.
12 months.
Yeah, we're going to take the
in 4 months we remove everything.
Yeah, other than the vanilla beans. So the first month we take out the cinnamon. Unless you like more cinnamon, then you can leave it in or add more. So, but I think it is wonderful.
And then on month 4, we're going to take out all the others except the vanilla, and then we're just going to let that vanilla come through over the last 8 months.
It's got to catch up to all of those stronger spices. Cinnamon is kind of the strongest spice in this group here. And so that's the reason we're taking it out, is we're just trying to let all those other spices kind of catch up.
Now I'm going to mention this again because Lori mentioned this geez, like this was many, many lives ago. And Lori has such really good ideas on just efficiency, right? But the question was asked, can you take a finished vanilla extract and just add the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the allspice berries to it, and then have that, the Sweet Dream vanilla bean or the vanilla bean sweet dream extract be ready in 4 months? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can, because the alcohol content's the same. We have
still need
found
12 months to have finished vanilla though.
well, and we have found again that time in extract making is such an important part of the recipe that when everything is allowed to sort of extract together, you get, in our opinion, a little bit of a smoother flavor. But if you're looking for speed to create something new, you can absolutely do that. You can use a finished vanilla extract, add some spices to it, let it go for a couple months, and it'll be ready a little faster. So before we, oh, go ahead.
I just did, can you show the close-up camera here for a second? I want to show you the caramel is already kind of dissolving that quickly. It's, you can see all the pieces in there, the coloring is off. This happens quite quickly. So don't forget to go in and kind of shake it up. So you're mixing the apple, the vanilla, and the caramel all together.
Yep. And
See,
then
I
maybe
mixed that up and you can see it's already cloudy.
yeah, oh, it looks good. And then maybe let's give them an update on the peach caramel before we start our taste test. You can see how much has come through. It's quite a bit. Perfect. Hold it right there. So it's still dripping, but you look at all that's come through. It's beautiful. And so
We still got some of that on top. Like I said, you can take it through a fine mesh strainer first and then put it in here. And again, it's going to look,
yeah, just like you see at the bottom of the Chemex, it's already starting to take on that color, which is fun. So, okay. So we're like 2 minutes away from end of time. We scheduled an hour. If any of you have to step away, we totally understand. And thank you for joining us this long. We've got 2 taste tests that we want to do, and they move pretty quickly. We're going to be taste testing our peach vanilla that we started with fresh peaches on August 20th. And then we're taste testing our coconut vanilla that we started just last month. That's another extract that's ready in just a month. So taste test time's a lot of fun. So as a recap, so for the peach vanilla extract and the coconut, when you're taste testing, this is another thing we get asked all the time. People dip their fingers in it and they say it's really boozy. How come I still smell the alcohol?
it should be.
Those are really common things. And the answer is, well, because the number one ingredient is alcohol. Well, the number one ingredient is the water, but then the alcohol content, is after that. So it's always going to smell boozy. You need a medium that you drop it into, disperse it. We like to use milk. You can use whipped cream. Some people will pour it like over a little sugar cube and taste it with the sugar. So there's lots of ways to do it, but we just take a little spoonful,
couple
drops.
Little spoon here.
First, we shake the jar to make sure we get all the flavors spread around. When we're done extracting, we'll put the extract into more of a decorative decanter or something smaller.
Maybe in an 8-ounce jar. Once I taste test this and I think it's good, then I'll strain out all those peaches. I'm going to strain out those peaches with my cinnamon and peaches I've already done. I'm going to include all of them together, and I'm going to make a kind of a peach cinnamon sugar.
Yes.
And so I'm just gonna put these together with that one we just finished, and then see how that turns out. Because I've got all the peaches, I might as well, right?
Make a sugar. We made a cherry sugar that was really good, a raspberry sugar that was really good.
I haven't found much else to do when you start out with the Everclear, because it's quite strong. But
well, that's the one
sugar,
we
and I've
got the
noticed I
sugar.
have to kind of add extra sugar sometimes, even
The
because,
cherries in the Everclear.
Yeah,
But we did it.
Strong.
We just had to add a lot of sugar, and then we got the cherry sugar taste that we were looking for.
So same thing with the peaches. You might have to add a little extra sugar because of that, but just see.
Back to the taste testing point. So the reason we shake it all up is it's a big jar. So we want to make sure that when we're taste testing, we're getting all those flavors because it hasn't been decanted yet into a small jar. Shake it up, grab a couple of drops, add it to like a tablespoon of milk, stir it, or swirl it around. Give it just a second in the milk before you taste it. And here we go. We actually taste tested this already, and it is so good.
We can't help ourselves.
We can't help ourselves. But, you nose it.
Oh, it smells so good.
It's peach, right? Oh, It's
And
amazing.
it just has that kind of that softness that vanilla brings to everything.
Oh my gosh. So I'm thinking the first thing that comes to my mind is like homemade ice cream, gelatos, things like that, because it's such a sweet, peachy taste that is really, really good. But then obviously cobblers and crisps and things like that that incorporate peaches.
But
It's
mostly
going to be lovely.
frostings and the glazes, when things are baked, sometimes those flavors can get lost in that baking process. If you really want this to shine, it's those things that you put in after the baking process, like the glazes and the frostings. You could add it to a cocktail, a tea, a coffee, put it into the cheesecake, if it's a no bake. I mean, it just really, so many options.
What is so surprising about this is we've had all these discussions about how Everclear, when you take out the fruit and you try to make something, it's too powerful, you can't use it. So this is an Everclear extract. And so you would think then that as you're taste testing it, maybe there would be a little bit of a bite. Zero. It is totally smooth. It's peach, it's vanilla, it's present, it's not sharp. All the things that we don't like about Everclear when it's just that fruit that we're trying to figure out how to use, they're not present when you
Yes.
use it as an extract.
Yes.
It's perfect. Tons of peach flavor. So again, fresh fruit, it works. It's great extract. It's a great fast way to capture a flavor and have it in your cabinet.
And it's less expensive
For
when
a
the
long
fruit
time.
is in season.
That's the reason that we dove into it. It's so much less expensive than dried fruit.
So later on, I will take out the peaches, strain them out, and I'll be done here, and this will be ready to use.
There you go.
Okay,
So that's a winner.
our last
That's
one.
another one we get to add to the cabinet.
I know.
Our flavor cabinet, it's growing.
I added a lot of the things I've got going against the windowsill here for our party, because I want everybody to kind of see all the different places you can be in extracting, and all the different kinds, and how much work it can be.
This is
Okay.
a fun one with the skull on top, like, that's gonna be a good time. I'm talking like I even get to go to this party. I don't even get to go to that one. I'm gonna be there. I'm like the servant. I will be there serving. I will be handing things out and serving.
I made it a witch's
It's a
party.
witch's party, and evidently I'm not a witch. Yeah.
Just my girlfriends. We've had extracting parties with men and women, but this one is for witches.
Yep. So I am there. I'm responsible for taking pictures.
Yes.
Yes. And anything else Jill asks of me. I will be there that evening, unless you want me to put on a costume. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, we're moving on to our coconut extract, coconut vanilla.
This is page 111 of The Art of Extract Making. We made it just a month ago with coconut and a vanilla bean, right? Simple, super simple.
This was one that I really did have to keep going in and checking on, because I did notice that the vanilla would sit at the bottom, and if I didn't shake it up, it wouldn't get through to all of the coconut. So I would shake it up, but then I have this fermentation weight in it, and it would be kind of at the bottom or sideways, and then all the coconut would come to the top. It's also heavier than the coconut, and so just by nature, it's going to sink down. So this is one of those extracts that you need to go in, check every once in a while, make sure you're shaking it, because the vanilla will just be, I had this beautiful brown, vanilla color at the bottom, and then it was still white at the top. And so you really need to kind of shake it up ever so often. And then just adjust your weight each time to push it down. The next time you check it in the cupboard, you're gonna see some coconut that's above it, and that's all right. Just take the weight out, shake it up, and fix it again. It's just part of the process.
And coconut absorbs a lot like the freeze-dried pineapple. So this is one that you may want to, if you don't like your finished volume, you may want to go through and do, top it off or do another round with fresh coconut if you'd like to get more and more, because it does, are using the French press for this one, it does absorb a lot of the alcohol. So French press has been kind of a helpful thing just as exactly that we've learned. Who was it? Who gave us the idea of French press? Was that Justin Barrett?
I thought it was Julie.
Maybe it was
Hartman.
Julie. Yeah.
I don't know. I know a lot of you were talking about it.
It kind of looks like sauerkraut when you pull it out, doesn't it?
It doesn't smell
But it
like
does not
sauerkraut.
smell like that. I just had memories of New Year's and sauerkraut and pork.
So the reason I am not just sticking my spoon in there and taste testing it like I did with the peach vanilla is that there's so many of these small pieces, I'd probably end up with coconut in my little taste tester. So I'm gonna take this out. If there's some reason I don't like it, and I'm just gonna pour just a little bit into my cup.
Just a
here.
couple of drops.
That
was a little too much.
Okay.
But we can, is it still on the cam? Because we can show how much, all the fluid is in there.
That's
But
not
this
all
is-
of it.
No,
I
there's
just-
still some below
there's
the
still
level.
some below.
But this is one that it just takes a little bit of time. You're gonna strain it, to make sure that you get all of the alcohol as much as you can out of the coconut, but it's a tougher one as well.
And it also is done in a month, like the cinnamon.
The
so-
whole kitchen is coconut, just
Isn't
from
it?
here, it's like, there it is, that wonderful taste. Cheers. Let's
We
see.
haven't tasted this one yet.
Well, this has always been one of our favorites.
We haven't tasted this one. Oh my gosh.
Mm,
Yes.
uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pineapple upside down. I mean, you use pineapple extract too, but I mean, coconut with anything, I'm thinking summer. I always go summertime. These like fruity things, whenever I drink them, I go to summertime ice creams and creams and cakes and things like that with the glaze.
But you can put coconut in like your whipped cream and put that on, any kind of pie, and it'll be just this
Ooh.
this very light flavor. When people have it, they'll be like, what is that?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, is it coconut? What is that? And because it's not overpowering. It's something that, like when you put
It's like pina coladas. It's like a pina colada extract.
when you put lemon extract or almond extract in, like your frostings for cookies or whatever, you're not wanting it to taste like lemon. You're giving it this extra little flavor. You don't want it to be overpowering. You're just adding a little something. And this coconut added to all kinds of different pies, glazes. It's just going to be that perfect touch where it just takes that frosting to a new level.
Custards, creams, frostings. That's where you really taste the difference. That is a delicious extract. So hint of vanilla on the back end. It's definitely coconut forward. You kind of after the month, the vanilla's there, but if you know that it's there and you're kind of searching for it because it makes it a little creamy. But those of you that want more vanilla, let it extract for a little bit longer if you want. But that's delicious. There we go. Another one. Check. Another one done.
And when I have more time, I'm going to squeeze all of this out and then put it into a smaller bottle. And when you're done and it's ready to use, find something that has, especially if you're not going to use it right away, try to find a smaller jar that doesn't have a ton of air in it. It will last longer.
Yep.
So and maybe if you're going to use it right away, it's not going to matter because you're going to get to it. But if it's going to sit and you have it for someone special or you have a lot of it, try to find a jar that has not a lot of air space left over.
Yep. So we have covered a ton of extracts. This has been fantastic. We've got another workshop that we're going to be doing next month. We'll be posting the invite in our Facebook group here shortly with the updates and the dates. I don't have it right now on the top of my head, but we'll make sure we get that up because our focus has been Potions Party next Tuesday. So it'll probably be up after next Tuesday when the dust settles from everything else that we've been working on. For those of you that have attended a lot of these, and I know I see a lot of you like taking notes or writing things down. If you go to vanillapura.com and you'll see the section that's about our book, in the drop-down menu, there's a new menu item that says video tutorials for all of the recipes. So what we've done is we've taken all of these little snippets and we've put them together on one page. So there'll just be one page for, say, like peach caramel, and you'll see our first video, and it's just that snippet of the first video, not the whole workshop, just the part where we talk about peach caramel. And then you'll see our update, and then you'll see it all the way through until we taste test it and each extract is finished. So if you're, looking at our book and you're making recipes and you want to make it along with us, we're going to have it all archived right there by recipe. So you can access all the videos just specifically for the recipe without having to go through and try to find where they were all at. We've divided them all up for you so you can see them all. We hope that's helpful as you're going through and making all of your different extracts. This has been super fun for us.
Yes.
And a long way to go.
It depends on how we learn, a lot of times you got to see it, done to understand. Sometimes it's hard just reading it and you're like, wait a minute. And it's hard to explain, every tiny little step in a book. And so that's kind of why we decided to do the video, is because we've had several questions asked on certain recipes. And we thought, well, if we have a video and the book, hopefully that will cover all our bases.
Everything's there, and we can have some interaction and come up with good ideas, like Lori's example during the workshop today. I mean, that was so good.
Yeah.
So there we go. Now it's the end here. I just want to make sure that the person is still with us. Hopefully, yes. Patty, I see your name. I don't know that I saw your face yet, Patty, but Patty, thank you for attending. You're our winner today of a $25 Vanilla Pura e-gift card. So email us at support@vanillapura.com, and we're going to send you a $25 e-gift card just to say thanks. We're about 10-15 minutes late because I cracked 10 to 15 too many jokes, which is always what happens. But here we are again. So thanks for bearing with us and hanging around and going through all these extracts. What a full house. We have some dishes to do.
Made a mess.
I know. It's like Thanksgiving dinner just ended, but wow, so many good things. And this was, I think, really substantive. So thank you all. And we'll look forward to seeing lots of you at our potions party that'll be held in our Facebook group, not on Zoom. It'll be in our Facebook group, Making Vanilla Extracts by Vanilla Pura, next Tuesday evening. There's an invite inside the group so you can see the time based on where you're at. So we hope to see tons of you there. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then again, we'll be updating you on when our next live workshop will be for November.
Hopefully you saved your black magic. We can make it together. If not, you won't hurt my feelings.
No, we're going to have plenty of things to talk about. It's going to be fun. And then we'll see hopefully a lot of you in November for our workshop. And then we've got a December workshop as well that we're going to put on the calendar. And then that'll be it until, well, January.
The beginning of December. Then we're going to leave you alone so
Yes.
you can just enjoy your holiday.
There you go. Can't believe we're already talking about that.
Christmas.
So
right around
thanks.
the corner.
Yeah, right around. Oh my gosh, right around the corner. So thanks everyone once again for joining us. We appreciate it. It's good to see you. Have a great rest of your day and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.